Shivani, how you doing?
It's been a day, man. And it's only 11 a.m.
Oh my goodness, isn't that crazy? You just constantly build evidence of doing more, doing hard things, and continuing to find ways. Like it's almost like embracing the problems as they come. Like you're almost looking for the problem so you can find the solution, and then you're leading to another problem so you can find the solution. But being okay with like, all right,
It's embracing the chaos.
embracing the chaos. Like I feel good now, but when it comes up, I'm ready.
I'm gonna try to be.
100%. I think I work on that a lot. Like I work on trusting myself, like just within that concept. And as I do that, like I know that I'm going to be in my best version as I am right now. Like that I have it, that I can find the solution or find the decision so that way I can keep moving to where I need to go.
I think it's like if you can give yourself that kind of peace mentally, then you have more clarity and then you waste less time.
Yeah, 100% with the worry and the fear and you're just leaning into like, all right, I'm going to do something hard and I'm just going to do it. Like I feel like that with fitness sometimes too. Like, it's timed and you're racing and it's heavyweight. Like you can go through all that and give yourself like a mini heart attack, or you can just submit to it and just do the best that you can in the exact moment that you're in. Like even if you're doing a push up, like do that push up like as best as you can.
Agreed.
What's your like theory like on time blocking and stuff? Obviously, we work off a schedule, like it's so important. But I'm kind of
I'm
leading
actually
into that.
teaching a class on this next week because I use, so I have a lot on my plate that I have to
Hmm.
do
Hmm. You
with
get to
being a
do.
lender, this godforsaken job, I'm a mom, my kids are super active in sports and all this stuff. My husband travels a ton for work. I'm in grad school and I just started my internship. So there's a lot going on at all times. So I do have to be a ninja with my time to get it all done. Plus, I
100%.
don't have the size of team I
Right.
need for the volume we're doing here, but we make it work because I don't fuck around with my time. I don't let
Right.
people steal my time.
Right.
I am really efficient with it. It's my most valuable asset is my time. So I'm a ninja with my time, but I also don't waste a lot of time in like mental cul-de-sacs. So I think a lot of people think that, functioning on a really high level comes down to time blocking and color coordinating the calendar and, you know, removing inefficiencies, which I think is a huge part of it. But what really took me next level was understanding that it's not about time management, it's about brain space.
Mm.
And the more brain space you can free up, the better you'll become at being an executor and executing in difficult situations faster, which then comes back around and saves you more time.
That's amazing. I hear so many ways of being able to do that. Now, like you're always well dressed and stuff like that. How do you do that with a closet? Like, is it just in the calendar for meetings, or is that like how you do anything is how you do everything?
Everything I'm planning, I'm always planning ahead to the point that I have a hard time living in the moment because I'm always getting ready for the next thing. And it's ridiculous. Like after dinner, I'm setting up the kitchen for breakfast. So I'm putting out everyone's morning supplements. I have my plate laid out, my fork, my knife, my supplements. Like I'm always getting, after nap,
Right.
I have my daughter's room set up for bedtime so that when I get in there, it's ready. So to answer your question about clothes, my clothes are always laid out the night before.
That's a blessing, and it's very intentional, right? Like you're prepared, you're mentally like can check that off your list that you're good in the moment because you know that tomorrow you're gonna start off right. Like I could see where that brings trouble if you don't, like if you're scrounging for clothes, and I mean it's small. We're talking about clothes here, but we're not at the same time. We're talking
Dude,
about
clothes
like
take up like could take 20 minutes, derail your morning by 20 to 30 minutes if you don't have your outfit picked out.
and then if you know you're making excuses or whoever it is that you have to meet with, like that's just a snowball in itself for that. Like just showing up, right? Is how you show up is important. I think that that's important to feel good in the moment, right? Like when you show up big versus behind because you're building evidence of a person who has their stuff put together or not, right? Like you can fake it or like do you? Those little baby steps of you putting everything together show that like you're thoughtful and you care about it. So I appreciate you sharing that because I think it's important and it's for people that are listening. to know that like if they're on that track or if they're not on that track, like it's just something to think about. And I think that's the concept of pushing forward on like how can we start bridging the gap here in life to get better. I think that's we're either growing or dying. So I think it's important that we're constantly in a state of growth and being open-minded and trying to work towards being better. That is exciting. Well, thank you. I feel warm now. Hello, how are you?
Good.
That's good.
How's your morning been?
My morning's been good. It's kind of thinking in the future a little bit. Like I have this big I owned it as big. I made it big just right now. I just heard it in my voice, but there's a CrossFit competition that tomorrow that I'm doing, and usually they're like four different like exercises that you do, like they put them together, but you're doing 10, 15 minutes at a time, but you do four of them in the day, and they're timed, the weight's heavy, and it's a competition, so there's that aspect of it as well. So all the little things of getting ready for it, like it's showtime tomorrow. But then, I get family time after, and it hasn't killed me before, so like just kind of letting go of making it so big. But I heard myself say it was a big thing right now. So it's obviously still there, but I'm working on that right now. That's what's going on the back end in my subconscious while I'm also kicking ass during the day.
It's like Arjun always says, though, you have to assess it for the right level of big, right? You got to meet the moment. As
Right.
he always says, like, sometimes people fall short of the moment because they underprepared and they didn't take it seriously.
Mm,
Other times people make it too big and then they show up to the moment overwhelmed, which I can hear is what you're trying to not do. You have to
100%.
just meet the moment. That's how you
Right.
succeed.
Right. Yeah, no, I've done that before. I definitely have put too much like analysis, paralysis, thought into it, like planning, preparing, like all this stuff, and ended up like just having little mini like when your heart starts beating in those levels, like I felt different. Like my body felt like overwhelmed during a workout versus just working out. Like it's again, like it's just weight, it's just working out, and I've done it plenty of times over and over.
Everyone's
So
so big on the cold plunges, and like how it
yes,
makes you mentally tougher and it'll change your mindset.
right. Yeah, those
I will
are
say I didn't see like life changing. I do it every morning because
right.
why not? But I find the reason I do it every morning is I find that I don't get as sore from working out. It reduces the
Right.
inflammation in my body, so I can work out more often and keep working out hard with the rest less recovery days. But it did help me with this like I'm pretty mentally tough. So
Right.
I didn't see this whole difference of like I can do where I was like mentally like all day because I've already done something, but I did see it on my way to Pilates because I've been doing Pilates for 10
Mm,
God, like over a decade. It makes me feel old. But it never gets easier. It's always so hard. It's like I'd be driving there at 6 a.m. and I'm like, God, it's going to be so hard. And I'd be a little anxious.
mm-hmm.
But once I started doing the cold plunge before, that anxiety went away because I was like, I already did something hard. I got in the cold
Right.
plunge.
Right. That is I think the blessing in that is even if you have like a conversation that's uncomfortable or something that you need to have, you've already done something super hard and early, and like nothing compares to that kind of like build up of you're about to get into that cold water of like whatever mentally you have to like get all those voices or whatever goes on in your head out so you can get in. Like that is it's big work. Like I've
It just trains you to, like, even when you're in it for the 3.5 minutes,
100%.
that's fine. To me, it's the getting in. So once I'm in and I'm like, oh, it sucks. I'm like, oh, but you already did the hardest thing. Now you
Yeah.
just have to sit here.
That's a tough little battle too. Like I've done it in this like bath looking cold plunge, and there's times where like the water's only up to like above my belly button a little bit, and instead of like going lower, I hang out there, and then I can get used to
No,
that.
you
But
got
it's
to
I'm
get
like,
all, like,
uh huh,
instantaneously I
uh
shove
huh,
myself all the way in because if I only sit up, I'm not gonna go more. You have
right,
to right away.
right, right. So there's no like half-assing it either. Like because you can get through it, and but then at the same time, like you're still half-assing your being all in, like in life, and that's a good moment, like to see if you're like really all in or not. Like, are you down to get all the way in, get it done, or are you just doing it to do it? Because that's another thing too. Like I used that statement too before, where I would say that I cold plunge every day. Like it just sounded something to roll off my tongue and it sounded tough, but at the same time, like now I'm like, I know what that mental struggle is to get there. And I stopped setting up my cold plunge. I made it hard. I put roadblocks in front of it so that way I didn't have to do it, right? Like it's an excuse, it's a payoff. But there's a million ways to get it done. I can buy ice, I can pay a monthly fee. Like there's a bunch of ways to get that thing done.
Or
It's
just
just a
turn your
matter of
shower to ice ass cold at the end.
start there, right? Like the baby steps to it. Yeah,
I think
that's
that's harder because it's like cold. bullets hitting your body.
Right. That and like it takes your normal comfort zone away of like that's my hot shower time and right, you got to do something completely different. That's a good one. You caught my attention with like how you communicate online. I've heard your story too at Fairway Southwest last year, um, and just hearing how you dive a little deeper, like into like the mental, emotional side of it. What's your background around that world? Because that's what connected to me, and the reason why I wanted to be connected with you today is for that. So, what got you into that world? I would say of personal development.
I'm in a master's program that's on psychology focused. So I'm at the end now. I'll graduate in December. I'm in the intern portion of it to be a marriage and family therapist. And so learning all the courses we had to take on emotional intelligence, on grief, on trauma, on what leads some people to be executors versus other people get stuck on the sidelines of their own lives.
Hmm.
Neuroplasticity and like the science of the brain was a super interesting course. I loved that because it's so hopeful. The pathways in your brain can be rewired.
Right.
You can you can get past trauma. You can change your relationship dynamics. You can formulate a whole new version of yourself through your habits and through your mindset because your brain has neuroplasticity, which is so powerful if you see it for what it is because you have the ability to change the way you view the world.
Hmm.
So that's where that background comes from. I'm super excited to graduate and then use it to help people more with behavioral finance and how they interact with money and their relationship with money.
Hmm.
But I think went down the path because I've just always been interested in what makes people tick. I would choose a one-on-one interaction with someone over a group setting any day. I love like getting to know someone on a real level. I hate small talk. It makes my skin crawl.
Hmm.
So I think I've always just been more interested in why people are the way they are.
So powerful, I will say, just because you're caring about people and life in general, like humanity. Like, I think it's important that life, I mean, obviously, from if it, we can rewire our brain, it means that it was wired a specific way in the first place, right? And that probably comes from childhood or childhood events. That's how I was exposed to seeing life differently. And it was like patterns that I was getting frustrated about that continue to happen and feeling stuck. Like the moment I just gave up on feeling stuck and wanted to do something about it, like I sat in a seminar that had a lot of perspective exercises that you did in like in person, so like seeing is believing kind of concept, and that was helpful because it wasn't just the book version of it. It was more of the like I felt it and I was like, man, this is real. Like I get it now. You have my attention. And by doing that, like that was eye opening to me to knowing there was more. And then once I found that like little pinhole of growth, then that's where I started to chase towards that and grow and get better after that. But a lot of it came from rewiring stories from childhood of just the way I saw events in my life and I made meaning of it. And after making those meanings, like it was when you do this, this is what happens. So that I had this cause and effect world that I was living in. So I lived a lot in fear. Like, and this still comes up, don't get me wrong. Like even before us talking today or my next client that's coming at 2, like that, those, I still get the fear almost of being afraid and I gotta run through a process and kind of work through it just so that way I can remember the evidence that I've rewired with and stacked on top of that. Showing up a lot of times is like continuously building the evidence of that those stories don't apply to me anymore after I've rewritten. And I think that's what's hard is they continue to come back. It's not like a one time fix. And what's your experience on those types of things?
Yeah, when I work with clients or when I coach people, because I coach loan officers and realtors on, just being the best version of themselves. And I find that a lot of people struggle with like the moment of self-doubt that happens at the actual worst time.
Mm.
And like then you start to get so used to it and you recognize it that you know it's going to happen right before you get on the podcast or right before the client comes
Mm.
in, you're going to feel that again. So you get apprehensive to even feel it before it happens.
Right.
And I think the biggest thing is everything you do with mindset, time management, your success at work, your success in a CrossFit competition,
Mm.
you have to be really real about the fact that it's for you. You
Right.
know, like we lie sometimes and we say we work so hard for our family, or we lie sometimes and we say, you know, I want to show up for the people I'm going to meet today, and that's why I dress nice. I think you should be brutally honest with the fact that the most important relationship you have in your life is the one with yourself.
I
So
love that.
when I don't show up for my 6 a.m. workout, it's really detrimental to my most important relationship because that person loses faith in me, and that person is me.
Right.
And when I lose faith
Right.
in me, I don't perform very well. Or if I don't get in the cold plunge like I knew I could, or if I don't manage my day well and I wasn't efficient, I'm going to be disappointed in myself. So my own opinion matters the most. And then when it comes to that moment of like self doubt or fear, I say to myself, like, who cares more than you? Nobody.
Mm.
Nobody cares more about this client coming in, ending up in the right mortgage than I do. So nothing else matters. Because I care the most, I will figure it out. Before I got on stage to speak at Fairway, if I have
Mm.
a moment of self-doubt and I'm like, oh, but I don't work for this company. Should I be telling their loan officers what to do? How
Right.
real should I be with them? They don't know me that well. They don't know what they got
Right.
themselves into when they hired me.
Right.
I
Right.
think to myself, well, nobody cares more about giving a good presentation right now than I do. Nobody
Mm.
cares more. I care the most, so I'm going to do the best job.
Man, I think that that's huge, right? With the evidence building too, of and you're building evidence to yourself. Like, I mean, people are going to get the best version of you because you're constantly proving to yourself that the person that you're becoming or you're striving towards, that is who you are, and you do that within those action steps. That what I heard from you right now was that like you're making a commitment to yourself, which is your word, right? And like that relationship to yourself is your relationship with your word to yourself. Like, do you make promises that you're going to be there, and then do you show up for them? And if you choose not to, like you're choosing to go back a pattern of those old stories of maybe for me it was like it was my mother who broke promises and left me hanging in a lot of places that had my mind, I made meaning of the world based off that. So I started to do the same pattern, but I did it out of like subconsciously I was cutting deals to like hurt people. It felt like that I wanted to feel what it felt like to be left and to be a commitment broken. And so I didn't realize like that was the bad patterns that I was like experiencing. Now I get so deep with it where, let's see if I got it. I'll carry a picture of myself because what you're talking about just resonates so deep with me that like I'll have to look at that boy that had those stories in the first place and know that I'm going to be here to show up for him and I'm going to follow through on those commitments. And that's I have two beautiful daughters that mean the world to me, but at the same time like I show up for that boy first and then they get the best of me and not the rest of me.
That's
So
so
that
powerful.
that's exciting. Thank you for saying that. That was like you affirmed it for me like that I don't know. It's work that I do on myself, but like you don't really hear it from somebody who's pursuing a path of like it's real, and I think that's what's important is the work that we do daily is such a real concept. It's so detrimental to the future and to your family's future and your you know before and after. Like this is whatever lineage curses and things like that we hold strong that my family is this, and we tie it to our lives forever. Like we can change that. And I think that's important to like address and continue to push that concept of in a way of ownership and responsibility that we can make the changes, but it's going to take work and we got to do the work daily.
And when you do it, you build more credibility with yourself every
Mm.
day, and then everything gets better.
Yes, yes, that's exciting. What's your? You're a busy bee. Like I can tell you because you have to. Like it sounds like within your kids, your business, your goals, like what do you lean on for you to keep you like you saw with me it was a picture of myself. Like what is it for you that you go back to that to keep you strong because it's a lot of weight. It's a lot. Like I think especially if you got a vision, like it can be a lot, but at the same time you almost feel like you have to do it, like it's a purpose.
It is. It's totally a purpose. I think what you have to do, or what I do, I guess, I'll just speak for myself.
I love that.
I don't, I really work hard to stay away from a victim mentality. Like, it's a terrible way to get attention. So, even if, like, it's some days where you're super overwhelmed and you're stressed and there's too much on your plate, you want to get sympathy from people by being like, man, look at how bad it is. Like, there's too much. I can't do it. Look at how much is on my plate. And that was something I just stopped doing. Like, whenever I catch myself going into a place of woe is me, or I've got too much going on, I'm like, wait a second, Shivani, you're the one who chooses this. Like, you choose this life. You choose to embrace the chaos. Nobody's asking you to do all this shit. And there's so much to be grateful for. So when you lose a victim mentality, it is about gratitude, and it is about listing the things that, like, you're lucky to even have these opportunities. But the way I stay away from, toxic positivity is I lose the victim mindset. I focus on gratitude, but I do it from a place of empowerment. Like, I do it from a place of like putting myself first, taking care of myself, being strong for me, because then I know I show up better for everybody else. So when I do the thing that gives me joy, or when I take a moment to be selfish and do what I need, I know it's for the better of everyone, because then I show up for my team better, I show up for my family better. So I have my non-negotiables that I don't budge on. And that's how I take care of myself, is a combination of like no victim mentality, use gratitude, but not to the point of toxic positivity, because I think that's real. And be empowered to take care of yourself so you can take care of other people.
I love that you're getting straight into action, right? Because it's easy to pick up the phone, hear about somebody else's life, and then coach them or whatever it is that you're trying to do to fix them, like be a tugboat, basically, versus being the lighthouse and just getting after it and taking responsibility of clearing that path for yourself. I think that's where the empowerment, like the word you use, like it is just straight into doing something about it versus being stuck or faking it, right? Because you're, in a way, when you start hitting YouTube or Instagram looking for positivity, or being the person and just, jumping on your feed and faking the positivity to boost yourself up, like it's not the same as just doing the hard things that that are going to make you feel better. Yeah, I think that's I'm glad you brought that up, though, because that's important, especially in the world that we're in right now with access to whatever narratives you want to believe. Like, it's going to be whatever's in your subconscious, like Instagram can expose it, which is weird. But at the same time, like, the truth can set you free. So if you don't like what you're seeing, like, it can be your responsibility to change it. It's not Instagram's fault. It is just the way that your eyes are moving and what's going on in there. And so having some kind of like warning flag that, like, if it's coming up, then you can start moving into being responsible and doing something about it. I think that is it's a way to freedom. Like, it's that deep. Like, it's a way that you can set the pressure in your chest, the whatever makes you like tense, free, by just getting towards that hard stuff fast. And I think that's what, like, the beginning of this, we talked about getting to a problem. Like, if you see that as the problem, like, do the problem, so that way you can get to a solution of even feeling better. I'll have to put our head on a pillow at night. And I think it's important that how you feel when you get there, you're either forcing it or not. That's exciting. Shivani, I'm glad you said yes to this podcast. You chose into it, because I think it's important to continue to have these conversations that, you're either helping or hurting people with your time. And you can't go out there and save everybody, but you can focus on yourself, be the lighthouse. And at the end of the day, people are going to, just the way that you attracted me into your life, like you being the best version of you, it's going to continue to push me to be the best version of me. And I think that's important.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad you invited me. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, Shivani on the podcast right now. I promise you guys to never speak unless my words bring value. And if it's not me bringing the value, I promise to be the bridge. And here we are today, sharing that with you. And until next time.